welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano, and on today's program, we will get an update from Robert Pearson, director of the Norfolk County RSVP program. First, though, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, kind of cloudy out there. 47 degrees right now. Today will turn out partly cloudy. Temperatures in the mid-50s this afternoon. Temperatures will drop to the mid-30s this evening with increasing clouds, and then tomorrow looks wet and cold and maybe some mixed precipitation. It should hold off till later in the day. Tomorrow morning, I think, will stay dry. The precipitation moves in the afternoon and continues into the evening hours. Temperatures only in the low 40s during the day tomorrow, and kind of steady temperatures overnight as well. Much better on Sunday. Definitely the pick of the last weekend of March this weekend. Partly sunny Sunday with highs into the mid-50s. Monday looks great. Lots of sunshine, just a few clouds, and Monday's highs into the mid-50s. Again, cloudy, 47 degrees in Quincy right now. Checking news for you today, another bargaining session is being held today between the Quincy Teachers Union, the school committee, and a state mediator. After a lengthy meeting yesterday, the two sides agreed to return to the bargaining table today to try and come to terms on a new contract. Now, key sticking points include teacher longevity pay scales, classroom preparation time, and parental leave policies. During a recent rally in Quincy Square, Central Middle School teacher Kim Chrissinger said that teachers are only asking what's already been approved for other city unions.
I cannot fathom how in this day and age, with the focus on mental health, with postpartum depression on the rise, QPS can force teachers back into the classroom when their stitches have barely healed. They are asking us to choose between financial stability and our physical and mental health. It's appalling. I'll end with this. Mayor Koch has been quoted saying multiple times that he would not support awarding teachers anything less than any other union. So, Mayor Koch, why have we been offered the ability to use 6 weeks of accrued time to heal from childbirth when other unions can use 12, regardless of being the birthing parent? Why have we been denied the option to donate to a sick bank for our members who need to take extended leave, but other unions currently have that option? If you truly want to not offer less, Mayor Koch, you may need to take some time to look at all the offers.
Now, the union and the city did agree to let these talks go into state mediation on March 3rd. The last Quincy teacher's contract expired at the end of August. Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch says he doesn't take the recent vote of no confidence in him by the Quincy Teachers Union personally. Koch said he felt the vote was disingenuous because it was taken before the first negotiating session with the state mediation team. The mayor also says he doesn't feel that the union is bargaining in good faith.
We talked about beyond the 3.33%, which every other union took. Other monies in other categories like longevity. I put a budget in there for it, and of course the teachers call that a cap, a ceiling is what they're referring to. Mm-hmm. So, I can't negotiate against myself. So we need to have some movement on both sides, not just on the city side. That's negotiations. Otherwise, it's just a stick up. It's what are you going to give us? It's supposed to be give and take.
Teachers Union is lobbying for what they say is a modern parental leave policy, more generous teacher longevity pay scales, and increased classroom preparation time. The Quincy City Council is asking the administration to begin the process of conducting a review of the entire zoning code and zoning maps within the city of Quincy. Council this week passed a resolution sponsored by 6 city councilors calling for the review of zoning codes and maps due to the expansive development going on across the city. City Council President Noel DeBona says councilors want to make sure that residential neighborhoods are protected.
What we're going to do in the next phase is obviously the city of Quincy is reconstructing all over the city. We want to make sure that we continue to protect our neighborhoods, our reses, and it's pushing into our pockets of neighborhoods. One of the biggest things that I brought up last night is we have a lot of commercial /restaurant /retail that have not succeeded. They've had problems over the COVID and they had to, they've obviously had to close. When you take a commercial property and you now take the entire commercial property and make it all residential, some people frown upon that and say, now it's just too many residentials in that particular area. We'd like to see more of a, mixed use, some type of retail or some type of commercial base on the first floor, and then maybe some apartments or condominiums above. Some folks just don't want a straight residential. And that's what's happening across the city, which is becoming a hinder upon people just because there's more people in a particular city or area.
Councilors say there have been 295 amendments to the city's zoning codes and that there hasn't been a complete review of the codes or maps since 1970. That review will likely take place ward by ward. The new Yawkey Housing Resource Center that's being built to replace the Father Bill's homeless shelter in Quincy is expected to open in August. This week, Executive Director John Yazwinski gave the City Council an update on construction of the new facility right across from the existing shelter on Broad Street. Yazwinski says the new center is desperately needed to assist young people and families.
Just at a point in time over the last week in the city of Quincy, we had 180 students in the Quincy Public School experiencing homelessness. 180 kids experiencing homelessness in the city of Quincy. We don't have shelters in the city. We need to continue to look at. We have shelters in the region. Is how do we support more affordable housing for our poorest families and individuals through all the communities? It's not just the city of Quincy. It's all communities need to take on this responsibility. Those kids are getting bused from other shelters. If it's at Father Bill's, we have shelters in Stoughton. We have shelters in Middleborough and Brockton throughout the region. Just so you know what's going on out there as we see more families experiencing homelessness also.
The new center will feature 30 permanent housing units plus an emergency shelter. There will also be a day center providing homeless prevention and mental health and substance abuse counseling, and a medical clinic operated by Mannett Community Health Center. Yazwinski said they are still about $200,000 shy of funding the $23 million project. Representatives of the CVS pharmacy chain will be asked to appear before the Quincy City Council to respond to concerns about two of their Quincy stores. Ward 6 Councilor William Harris says the Quincy Shore Drive location has issues with rodents, traffic flow, dumpsters, and fencing.
There's a fence that is just a disgrace for folks that, again, live in nice neighborhood, that it's not upkept, and I'm sure CVS has enough money to have been able to maintain this type of this property much better. CVS has not responded to multiple requests to resolve these issues over months. Phone calls, emails, directives from neighbors, and obviously city officials. With this, I'm asking my colleagues that we order representatives from the CVS Corporation to appear before the Quincy City Council to address these complaints, answer to why they have not been resolved, and provide a clear plan to ensure these matters are resolved.
And Ward 1 Councilor Dave McCarthy said the CVS on Southern Artery also needs to be cleaned up. Councilors passed that resolution, calling on representatives from the company to appear before them soon. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, we chat with Norfolk County RSVP Program Director Robert Pearson. Next. Welcome back. We're happy to welcome back to the program Robert Pearson, Director of the Norfolk County RSVP Program, for our first chat with him for 2023. Robert's in his office at the RSVP Program in Dedham. Good to see you, Robert.
Thank you very much, Joe. Happy to be back. Not only happy 2023, but I could say happy spring, even though I didn't feel we had much of a winter.
That's so true. How are things going at the program? How did it go over the winter, as a matter of fact?
We are busy. I mean, the thing that is wonderful, I think, for the community at large is that people are out and about. COVID has receded. Fortunately, for the most part, there are people that here and there I'm aware of are still getting COVID, but we are, because it's more of an endemic situation now. Well, we are active. We're growing, our volunteer pool. We're up to about 185 volunteers with a goal of 285. And we're doing a lot of planning for this spring and summer.
So, as a matter of fact, you've already got your grant money in place for the next 3 years, yes?
Yes. So just to remind viewers, or if you're learning about RSVP for the first time, we receive a federal grant from a division of AmeriCorps for older adults age 55 plus called AmeriCorps Seniors. And we are a retired senior volunteer program. Our mission is to recruit volunteers all over the county to help in probably about 15 or 16 different ways. We'll be going into some of that. AmeriCorps Seniors also sponsors foster grandparents and senior companions, who receive stipends. But I want to say the new 3-year grant really is a reboot. And the last time we had a 3-year grant, everything had closed down 2 weeks before April 2020. And so it was a very chaotic time. So we're especially boosted and excited to be visiting our 30 plus partner sites in person, which we haven't done for, it feels like, 6 years or for a while, and just restating what our goals are in the different Quincy partner sites and different areas. And it's good to have the funding to continue to be of service to people in need in the community.
Yeah, in fact, I know you were telling me before the program this morning that you've spent some time right here in Quincy very recently, right?
Yes, this week I was in Quincy twice. One time visiting the program managers for BCNC, the Boston Chinatown Community Center, and also for QCAP, Quincy Community Action Program, the English as a Second Language, and adult education, other adult education programs. I'm going to be back next week, as a matter of fact, going to visit Melinda Alexander at the new location of the QCAP food pantry as well. So it's wonderful to be meeting people in person and getting some new ideas of how we can recruit new volunteers in some situations, which I will share. There's some new opportunities to recruit volunteers in Quincy and surrounding areas. Lastly, mention that we have a new board member who is going to help us target, especially it'd be useful in Quincy, native Chinese speakers for some of the opportunities. As she's a native Chinese speaker, she is very well networked to see if we could get more volunteers to help, let's say, with English as a second language for new immigrants or people who don't have very much English.
I do know that one of, if not the most popular program, is your Rides for Veterans program, and probably one of the most gratifying ones too, I would think, both for the volunteers and for the veterans.
We always come back to Rides for Vets. Thank you, Joe, because it's our flagship program.
Right.
We end up recruiting volunteers for 30 partner sites, but Rides for Vets is the only program that we operate from soup to nuts. We dispatch. And if anybody is listening, this is a very unique program. If you know of a veteran, if you are a veteran, or if you have some time to help in this program, we offer free rides to veterans in Norfolk County to medical appointments. And we give between, I'd say, 80 and 90 rides a month currently. Because there is ongoing demand, we limit the number of rides to one a week for veterans. But we are looking for more drivers. And we will train anybody who has the flexibility, Joe, just to do a minimum of 2 rides a month. They could do more if they want, but we have a software program where you as a volunteer would see a list of rides from what location to, let's say, the Brockton VA, sometimes the Jamaica Plain or West Roxbury VA, or a dentist or medical appointment somewhere on the South Shore. And you would get all the information you need about what is required for this particular veteran, if they are bringing a foldable wheelchair, if they're bringing somebody along to assist them. And I think it's important for veterans to know how committed we are, because we offer supplemental mileage reimbursement to our drivers up to 300 miles a month. Some people really do benefit from having that extra income, but some people don't feel they need to. They just want to give without needing something back. And as an RSVP volunteer, all volunteers from the time they leave their house to the time they come back will be covered by supplemental accident and liability insurance. Fortunately, we've only had to use that once in the past 25 years, but it's reassuring for people to know that they have that benefit just in case.
Sure.
Lastly, I'll say, because of the gasoline prices, they're a little eased up now, but we are sending periodic $50 gasoline gift cards to our drivers as well to help them, ease that financial cost.
So you have 185 volunteers now. You need at least 100 more. So let's talk about where those opportunities are, Robert, for volunteers.
Nice. And I want to say that we have 3 years to get those other 100 volunteers.
Okay.
But it would be nice if anybody listening, yes, it's not as urgent as that, but we would love to have you join us. So within Quincy itself, and some of the surrounding towns, we have money managers. I'm highlighting this because normally we don't, Joe, but through South Shore Elder Services and some of the other area agencies on aging like HESCO, you will be trained through an online course of the basic parameters of working with somebody in their home. Usually it's somebody that is older and or qualifies because of financial limitations. And you would go maybe twice a month into the person's home, help them balance their checkbook, write checks, and with guidance, see if there are any things within their bookkeeping that they could benefit from. I've heard some nice stories of people who have saved their clients a lot of money. So you don't have to be a financial whiz, but if you have your own checkbook, you like spending money and balancing your checkbook, you can help some other people to do that as well. Literacy volunteers, I want to break this up in 2 ways.
Sure.
We're not going to be recruiting for a little while at the Quincy locations for literacy. I'm going to talk more about the other opportunities there in a second. But I will say that the Stoughton Library does have remote and in-person literacy volunteer tutoring opportunities. It's a splendid, I'm very impressed with it, because people who are interested to help newly arrived immigrants or people that just need to learn basic English, if you like communicating with people, you will get, first of all, over Zoom, a 5-session, an hour and a half to 2 hour training to really work, learn the skills of working with individuals over Zoom if it's more comfortable, or going in person to the Stoughton Library. So that's, these are our opportunities. I mean, clearly, as an aside, I know at the Quincy Library, clearly there are needs if people want to stay local. We're not involved with it, but people can go to the Quincy Library and look at that ESOL program there.
Sure.
I just want to fairly say that, yeah.
Yeah, and for the Stoughton program, I'm assuming you don't have to live in Stoughton, right? Especially if it's being done over Zoom.
Correct.
Yeah.
You could live anywhere in Norfolk County. Although I will say some people for remote have called us from Minnesota. That's a little too far away for us to
That's a
count
different
them
time zone.
as a Norfolk County RSVP volunteer.
Right.
But I will say that there is an upcoming orientation over Zoom on Thursday, March 30th for an hour and a half from 6 to 7:30 p.m. There'll be another one coming up in April. People who are listening, if you're interested to just explore the opportunity, feel free to contact me through my phone number or email address that's posted during this conversation, and I will tell you more and set you up for what I think is a very, very gratifying and educational program.
Robert, I didn't talk about this before the program with you, but I just remembered. Is the RSVP program working here in Norfolk County with the Sheriff's Office? Are there volunteer opportunities with the Sheriff's Office that you're aware of?
Wow, it's interesting you mentioned the Sheriff's Office because traditionally they have been a partner. I believe that there are going to be opportunities. Some of them will be remote. Most of them will probably be in Dedham, but since there is both a Quincy and I think a Stoughton office of the Sheriff's Department, I believe there may be some remote opportunities in the future. One thing that's interesting is the Sheriff's Department runs the Are You OK program?
Yes.
Which is a vital program where staff and volunteers use an automated system to call vulnerable seniors who live alone once a day. And if they don't pick up their phone to say they're okay, then steps will be taken to follow up, to see where they are, inform a family member, or have a policeman or fire person come to the house just to see. In some cases, through the years, these have been life-saving circumstances. So I mention that because the Sheriff's Department is working on a new platform where, for the first time, volunteers could work from their home.
Okay, all right.
And monitor the Are You OK program. I believe initially they're going to look for some morning weekend hours, but hopefully through time they will expand that. And as I said, there hopefully will be some other opportunities.
That's great to hear. It's a critical program, and like you said, it has saved lives, I know, right here in Quincy as well. And for folks to be able to do that right from home, I would think would expand the opportunities for volunteers to participate and keep the program going.
Yes, it's very meaningful. And as an aside, I will say, because I'm a real fan of this program, while I live out of county, I am bringing this program to the Council on Aging for my home city. Because it is so valuable, and out of county, out of Norfolk County, this program is not available so widely. I think they do it in Bristol County. They don't do it in Middlesex. So kudos to the Sheriff's Department for having such an important program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to us if you can about a special ceremony coming up in May, Robert. Yeah,
that's exciting. But please remind me, Joe, I also want to talk, if we have the time, a little bit about some friendly visiting and administrative opportunities.
We've got about a minute and a half or so you can sneak it in there, sure.
Okay, thanks for giving me a time frame. Time flies when I'm getting excited updating you. Okay, let me just mention friendly visiting. The Massachusetts Association for the Blind does have opportunities for you to visit visually impaired blind folks in their home in Quincy and surrounding areas, once a week, twice a month. Administrative volunteers for BCNC, Boston Chinatown Neighborhood Association, and Quincy Community Access Program. They, we're looking to have office volunteers for social services, youth programs, resume writing. We're possibly going to bring in volunteer financial coaches, mentors with strong academic backgrounds. And in the remaining 40 seconds, I will say that for the first time in probably 6 years or 5, we're going to be hosting a veteran volunteer pinning ceremony. It's going to be on May 18th. We're going to be honoring all volunteers for RSVP who support veterans or are veterans. And that means they'll be welcomed to a nice event, receive a metal pin, have remarks from the local veteran service officers, tea and coffee, and that we will be presenting in our newsletters, and I could give you more information as we get closer, Joe.
Okay.
How am I doing time-wise?
We're done, but we got it all in there. Thanks so much, Robert. Great to talk to you.
Thank you, Joe. Glad we could fit it all in.
Absolutely. We have just enough time left to take a look at the forecast for you for the rest of the day today. Kind of what you see is what you get out there. Clouds, a few sunny breaks, and temperatures in the low to mid-50s this afternoon, down to the mid-30s this evening. Tomorrow is the worst of the 2 weekend days. It'll be wet, could be white in some locations. It'll be cold, only in the low 40s. Better on Sunday, mid-50s, and nice, of course, on Monday. Thanks again to Robert Pearson for joining us today from the Norfolk County RSVP program. Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching. Monday, Al Bina's here from the Quincy Quarry and Granite Workers Museum. Check out our website anytime, qatv.org. There's news and information, video on demand, live streaming, and more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great weekend.